I'm going to read aloud to you a bit of the first chapter of my new book, Adagio, which should be out in the summer of 2017. It's the second book in the Amore trilogy. The first book of the trilogy, Rapture, is available through Chapters Indigo, Amazon, and so on. This takes about 20 minutes, the time of the TED Talk. So here it is, the first Gail Talk. Make yourself a cup of tea, a mug of coffee, or enjoy a lovely glass of wine while I read to you a bit of Adagio. Chapter 1. She reread what she had just written. Her hands were shaking. Okay, imagine. Just imagine. Imagine totally pure, comforting, warm, yet somehow crystalline light. Imagine that this light is the only thing that exists in creation, in the world. Imagine pure, unadulterated love. Really, truly, love with no conditions whatsoever. It's a sensation of pure peace, of pure love and pure acceptance together in a synergistic combination. In actual fact, it's completely indescribable. The minute one tries to put it into words, one alters it. One diminishes it somehow, because words, quite simply, cannot do it justice. Perhaps the closest sound that comes to describing it is ah. The of aha, the of discovery, the of lovemaking, the sound in so many of our names for the creative intelligence, the all that is, the sound in the words God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, Jehovah, Yahweh, Dea, and so on. This love is nothing but love. It loves everything and nothing. It loves itself. This love loves so much that it thinks love all the time. Always. But in truth, time itself and space have not been created yet. It just is. These love thoughts produce an implosion, an explosion, something like a solar thermonuclear event. This is sometimes understood as the Big Bang. What it is an orgasm, a cosmic orgasm, an orgasm as a result of the thoughts of love. It is all a huge mystery, and it is indeed miraculous. This light, as the orgasm comes to a crescendo, this light and love is fragmented, and the vibrational waves of it ripple out. The word crescendo, the climax, the loudest part reached in a gradually increasing sound, comes from the Italian word crescere, which means to grow. For the first time, darkness comes into existence. And the light, which was one thing and everything all at the same time, shatters into discrete entities of light, flung across the sky and shining in a sea of darkness. That darkness is not empty, as science has shown. It is full of something, something that they are only beginning to understand. The discrete entities of light form galaxies. There is a saying that without the darkness of the night sky, we simply would not be able to see the stars. Indeed. For in that moment, duality, which had not existed before, was created. Polarities are born. Everything is born from a virgin birth. Where once there had only been one thing, now it appeared that there were not only two, but many things. But I mean the word appear. In fact, it is all made of the same stuff, of the original unconditional love and of creative intelligence, of light and of love. This is the moment when opposites are born. Light now has a counterbalance, dark, which makes the light perceivable. Hot has a counterbalance, cold, and love has a counterbalance, fear. This phenomenon allows the universe to experience itself. Suddenly, there's an awareness of sound, of vision, and of sensation. Creative intelligence becomes aware of itself in a different way. There is sound. The very first sound ever made is ah, the ah of the orgasm that has just been reached. The second sound is the sound of satisfaction, of climax, of release after climax. Ah, These two sounds together, or the approximation, the words I am, are so very powerful because they approximate the first sound of creation. Remember that. The next time you follow the phrase I am with something you don't want. Have you ever said, I'm an idiot? Or I'm sick and tired of? I know I have. Words. Words. The power of words. The third sound is O. The O of surprise. The image of a circle of the letter O was formed as the solar thermonuclear explosion was viewed from its point of origin. What an atomic bomb looks like from the point of origin. Actually, the sound has a slight H sound at the beginning, like an intake of breath, and is the O from many First Nations languages. The ho means something like, and so it is. This is also the importance of the circle. If you have ever meditated in a circle, danced in a circle, gardened in a circle, you know the power of the circle. The fourth sound is a trilled brr, like a shiver. The same shiver some experience after an orgasm. It's the sound produced at the very first detection of other than hot, and also of other than love. It's the shiver of exposure to cold and the shiver of exposure to fear. The fifth sound is eh, the first question, the curiosity about what is being created and understanding what has just happened, what just came out. It really is quite miraculous. The original egg of the universe had just created its first sperm, the Milky Way. It makes sense that the word galaxy comes from the Latin via galactus, meaning Milky Way. Also in that moment, the illusion of space and time are created. Before that, there was no before. There simply was. Now there is a sensation of distance as well as a sensation of linear sequence. Suddenly, it looks like all things are happening one after the other, rather than always just being. And things look like they're all apart, when before that, all there was together. It's important to remember that it's all an illusion, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. When you put the first 5 sounds together, ah, oh, eh, to my surprise, and to my infinite delight, you get the first word ever uttered. Amore, the Italian word for love. Isn't that unbelievably fantastic? All the sounds, these vibrations, are the beginning of language. Sounds and words are so important. Words really do matter. They really do. So where do we, the human race, fit into all of this? Does evolution exist? The answer is a likely yes, in that we still mostly entertain a notion of sequence of events. Why can't they both have some truth in them? A creation story that led to evolution. Creation stories exist around the world, and many of them are remarkably similar to one another. Joseph Campbell tells of many creation stories from completely different cultures, separated geographically, with remarkably similar themes and details in their myths. But one thing is for sure, that light, that purest of pure love, that still exists, exactly as it did before the orgasmic event that set all of creation into motion, before the fear energy ever came into being. That indescribable love without fear love, that love well before fear ever existed love. In some ways, we live inside a thought. In some miraculous way, there is a reality before time and space. When and where, none of it happened. We live in the dream time, in a thought. When we die, we are returned to that central sun place from whence we came. That place that feels so amazing and so peaceful because it existed and continues to exist before any fear or fear-based energies existed. So many people who have come back from death describe this sensation, and also that they return with a sense that they should be more authentic and absolutely less fearful. Well, it's a little complicated because we're not really returning. The real us is the God spark in all of us. The personality we have is a gift. It and the body, each unique as snowflakes, unique in all time and space, are presence. Presence in the present. The body and personality is just the garb that we get to wear while we play at remembering that we're here to be happy and to be pure love, especially towards ourselves, enabling us to love and accept everyone and everything else more. This is the true meaning of self-love. Love yourself with the same purity of love and acceptance as God did, as God does, as the creative intelligence is. Then you can offer that same acceptance and love to others in the same way that God does. We've learned the habit of self-criticism. We need a new habit of self-acceptance for the sacred beings that we are. Thought created this reality of ours, this illusion we call reality. For you, yes, you are a light being, made of the same stuff as stardust, as is everything. Everything is alive. You, the rock, the river, the planet, everything. You are a candle flame in the all-encompassing light that is God's love, that is the universe's love. Now here's the kicker, and it's a doozy. If thought could produce all this, and you are a bit of the original thinker, just think about what you can do with your thoughts. Think about how powerful your thoughts are. As above, so below. Do you think that the statement, thoughts become reality, isn't correct? Think again. It's easy to understand why some people don't get why, while they're thinking of good things or goals that they want. Sometimes really weird, really big, bad things happen to them. I did too. Lord knows I've been there. But ask anyone. These things are always blessings in disguise, even though it doesn't feel like it at the time. There is a reason for everything. And sometimes you, and possibly someone else, need an experience a skill, an insight in order to move on to your stated goal. Sometimes you need to be reminded that you have to keep up with your own expansion. The secret is to think positively. Then you wake up one day, excited to see how the goal will unfold, and no longer waiting impatiently for it to happen. It becomes an adventure. I mean, pure fun to see how the goal will unfold. Not the goal itself so much as the deliciousness of how God will work with coincidence and serendipities and miracles to get you where you want to go. In fact, you've been given your desires precisely so that you can have the astounding experiences of fulfilling them. This is the true meaning of enjoying the journey. You're so happy on the journey that you can detach from reaching the destination. It's happiness you're after all, and suddenly you're happy even before you get to where you think will make you happy. Expansion is the key. The ripple effects of the orgasm go on, and we're on the cutting edge of the waves of it and of creation. You can be in the vortex, in the love that generated the entire system, or you can be outside the vortex, in fear and in cold indifference to your inner being. For God has given us the message, and the message is this, that there is one thing you must not do. This notion of one thing that must not be done appears in many, if not in all cultures. In the creation of the universe, fear was created, as a byproduct, if you will. God created everything with a virgin birth from just one thing, pure love, and yet offered us both a nurturing and a protective love, like any parent. That protective part, our animal instinct for survival, was given to us on purpose to protect us in this world of duality. However, any other fear, all the fear-based emotions, without exception, all of them are illusions, but they certainly do feel real. And so the message, the one thing you must not do is this: do not take a bite of fear. It is addictive, and it will lead to your downfall. Do not take a bite of anger, of judgment, of worry, of jealousy, of scarcity, of all of the so-called negative emotions, all of them based on and in fear. To stay in love is to live in heaven on earth. To live in fear is to live in hell on earth. As Milton said, the mind is its own place and can make a hell of heaven and a heaven of hell. We are God's sparks. Live on the love side in authenticity, in gratitude, in forgiveness, in delight, in acceptance, in peace. Learn ways to stay out of the fear side. Create deliberately with your thoughts. See any weird things that happen as stepping stones. Face your fears and learn new ways to play with them, to dance with them. They're not going to go away. Recognize that everything is alive. Understand that infinite love never dies, and neither will you. Your God spark, and therefore you, are made of infinite and unconditional love. Your God spark goes on forever, as always it did. When your body dies, you will remember with all that is, and then at some point will come back again and again in different garbs to play this magnificent game called life. It is a miracle, all of it. Isn't it incredible? Oh, one more thing. Creative intelligence, all that is, the source, the universe, spirit, the great mystery, whatever you call it, whatever your understanding, God is God, is God, is God, is Goddess, is God, is God, is God. No matter what your culture, worldview, or religion calls it, God is God. Love is love. How can my God be better than yours, or your God be better than mine, when they're the same thing? Pure love. Creative intelligence, spirit, the universe, God, Allah, Krishna, Buddha, the goddess, the great mystery, you call it whatever you want, but understand it is one thing and everything. More people on the planet have been killed in religious wars than for any other reason. Think about the absolute ridiculousness, the unspeakable tragedy of that. Don't engage in it anymore. Just don't. Refuse to. God is one thing and everything at the same time. That makes you a child of God. Other people in history knew this. Now you do too. She put down her pen and her paper, tears streaming down her face. Thank you for listening. Thank you.